All right, we're going to get started. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming this evening, and we're going to start with the pledge. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
There he is.
Oh,
Look at
okay.
that.
We were having some technical difficulties, John, but it looks like we've figured out on our end, so you're here.
Overcome.
Okay. So we got to start with a vote to have John admitted. Does anyone want to
Motion.
second that?
Second.
Okay. And we have to do all votes from this point forward as a roll call. So we'll take a roll call starting with Letty.
Aye.
Jim.
No.
Andrew.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. So John is admitted for this meeting. Next up on the agenda is we'll sign the payroll and accounts payable. So for the week ending 5/6. Or could be June 6th? Yes. Okay. Yep. Week
Still
ending.
not be June 6th.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. For the period ending June 3rd.
When does payroll end? So it was May 31st.
All right, so it'd be the period ending May 31st? Okay. Can we just amend those dates on here? Yeah. All right, well then, we'll take a quick pause.
Thank you, sir.
Ooh la la.
Is that a challenge for us to get out of here by 7?
Challenge accepted.
But we could move on to the consent agenda. So the consent agenda tonight has the public minutes from 5/20 of 2025. We actually have building permits, which we are now signing as required by the ordinance. It was pointed out by one of the members of the planning board to me that the zoning ordinance actually requires select board signature, 3 of select persons to sign the building permits. So we're going to be doing that moving forward. There could be some discussion down the road whether or not that ordinance could be amended as a matter of practicality to have an agent or maybe someone in the planning office being designated for that purpose. But for now, we're going to be signing the building permits. So what I would ask, and I think we've kind of fallen a little bit out of the habit of coming in on the off weeks. So if people can come in on the off weeks, because it will be important to sign those building permits so people can proceed with what they need to do.
I think we used to get an email when it was ready, right?
Yes.
Because I was in here last Tuesday, but I don't think stuff was ready.
So if you can get us all an email so we're on those off weeks, email, text, whatever works. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So now, actually before we get to that, so we have building permits, and then we also have the rec manifest, which should have been signed as well. So I'll take a
I see the check.
We'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Seconded.
Okay, take a roll call. Andy?
I,
I just wanted to make a change to the minutes.
Oh, okay. Before we do that, let's have some discussion. Is there a revision to the minutes?
Yeah, I guess, the last line, the second, page 2, the last line of that first paragraph.
Yep.
If we're gonna be going that deep into what people say, I guess either strike that or add the part about how therefore we don't need to hire someone to do it if it could be done that quickly. So it's up to this. I feel like all of these quotes are more specific than usual, so
Okay.
I don't have a preference as to whether or not you.
I don't really recall, frankly, and, was that something that you're saying wasn't said or was said?
I did not say that I could do it. I said that it could be done. And the reason why I said that is because I wanted to make sure that people understood that there was an alternative to hiring someone.
With
Oh.
all
So-
due respect, I do remember you, I remember you saying that you could do it in 20 minutes.
Like
That's what I
me
thought.
specifically?
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
it was a heated moment anyway. Who knows exactly? I don't, but
Okay.
Was there something that you wanted to add for clarification purposes?
I guess I would just, what did I last week saying? I mean, I guess if you're feeling like I specifically said that I could do it, and whether or not my intent was to point out that there was an alternative to hiring an outside source. I guess I'd rather just strike it.
Do you want to just put your intent was of the
No, because I didn't say that.
Oh,
That was inside my head,
that was-
so,
okay, in your head, okay.
right, like,
So the minutes are supposed to reflect what was said at the meeting, and again,
we don't usually quote this like, we don't usually have as many, like, actual quotes, though.
well, whether or not we do or we don't, I think it's important, to reflect, those things that are stated, and if they are quoted, and they're quoted correctly, then, my understanding is they'd be part of the minutes.
Well, then I guess I would just want to go back and look at the video to see if it was accurate.
Okay. Do we, is there an interest in deferring approving these minutes?
does it really matter that much? I don't know.
I mean, you're not quoted as saying something that you don't feel like accurately captures what you said. So.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I can't hear.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're referring John and,
he couldn't hear me,
And-
Michelle.
what's that?
He couldn't hear me.
No, I know, so I'm gonna repeat it. Michelle Situate was asking what we're referring to, and we're referring to the last sentence of the long paragraph on page 2 that says Bedard stated she emailed the town treasurer last week saying she could do the reconciliation with a spreadsheet in 20 minutes a month. So, that's what we're talking about.
Thank you.
Yep.
I guess if we're adding quote, I guess I would, if this is how we're gonna do minutes where there's actual quotes of words that people said, I would prefer to wait, because the first time I saw these was when I sat down at this table today.
Okay.
So if we could get these ahead of time, so that if we're gonna have direct quotes of what people say included, if we could get them ahead of time so we can check, that would be good.
Is there a clarification to this that would make you feel that you would prefer?
I would like to go back and watch the video to make sure this is accurate.
Okay.
If we are literally going to be quoting people, which is not typically how the minutes read, then I want to.
Well, our minutes should reflect the video. We're on record, and
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
But this is not a record of all of the things everyone said.
Okay.
No, but
So why, so,
yeah, I think the minutes are supposed to be a reflection of those things that summarize and highlight, you know, what happened at the meeting. I mean, if you want a verbatim transcript of what happened, yes, you could watch, you know, the video and then have a stenographer do that. I'm not quite sure that's what the minutes are intended to be. They're supposed to be a highlight and an outline. Yes.
I believe if you go back and watch the video, Letty, you actually said, I would like it on record that I called the town treasurer this week. And that is why I quoted it.
no, that's totally fine. I'm just
Okay.
trying to understand, again, because it's saying that I said something and I didn't think I said it. It's entirely possible I did, but that's when I want to go back and watch the video. If we're going to start quoting people like this.
Okay. Do we,
Really, can we just like defer the approval of the minutes for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Does it
yeah,
really matter?
that's what I was asking, if there was interest.
Make a
in doing
motion to table the minutes
Okay.
from May
Second.
20th.
that. All right. Roll call, Letty?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And I'm an aye, so we'll table these minutes.
Would it be possible to get the minutes emailed to us within a couple days of the meetings too?
We can do that.
Thank you.
All right, so less the minutes, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda that now will be just the building permits and the rec manifest?
Moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Andy? John?
Abstain.
Okay, and I'm an aye, so we'll approve that consent agenda less the minutes, and now we'll move backwards and
Can you
Go.
pass around the consent agenda to sign?
I can, yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
All right. So we have 2 weeks for payroll and accounts payable. So I'll start with the period ending 5/24, which has payroll in the amount of $40,839, payroll taxes of $9,816, accounts payable. It looks like there are for 5/29 in the amount of $82,731, and there was also payments to Swayze in the amount of $233,856 payable, and a payment to co-op in the amount of $709,934. For the period ending 6/1 payroll, amount of $50,917 with payroll taxes of $13,344 and accounts payable as of June 5th, 2025 in the amount of $16,293. That covers all of that. So I would take a motion to approve the payroll and accounts payable.
Moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Yep. And I'm an aye, so we'll pass this around for signature.
And Mr. Chair, with no objection, I'm going to strike out public minutes from the consent agenda.
Yep, thank you. All right, so next on the agenda is, action item is the bond bank approval of the note. The bond bank came through and approved the $225,000 amount, and this is for the purchase of the Munger property for conservation use. I don't know if you have anything that you wanted to address with regard to it? You do, if you, yeah, please.
Yes, Becky Dunham, Chair of Conservation. This is the first full bond issue that I've been involved with. I was not involved in the details for Fuller last year. So I appreciate the help from Andrea over the last 2 or 3 months for all the details. It's been very helpful to learn that process and to understand it. So having someone walk me through it was very helpful. So I have no other comments about this.
So I was reviewing this prior to the meeting. There is a resolution that is rather long, and I suppose I can read into the record. The items that are indicated should be pointed out is the maximum interest cost rate, which is at 4.75% per annum on this note. There's also Exhibit A, which is a maturity schedule. So this bond will run with payments due starting August 15th of 2026 through August 15th of 2040, with principal payments of $15,000 per year, which will then equal the total proceeds of $225,000. Unfortunately, the loan agreement that was sent to us by outside counsel has a date of July 16th on there as the loan agreement date. I think that's an error, but I want to check that with counsel. The other thing that I didn't see when I was reviewing this was an Exhibit B, which is referenced in the resolution, where it says that the bond shall be substantially in the form set forth as Exhibit B. If the board is okay with me confirming that those items are sufficient for purposes of moving forward, I'd like to be able to get the board to approve the resolution so we can proceed with this, because we also have a communication from bond counsel that this needs to be delivered with our signature by June 16th. Our next meeting is until June 17th. So I'd like to be able to do that with at least the caveat that I can satisfy that Exhibit B to the agreement is appropriate, and that we revise the date on the agreement from July 16th to,
Sounds like a motion
yeah.
from you.
I'm sorry?
Sounds like-
Sounds
Kind of like you just made a motion.
Yeah, so, well, let me, before I make the motion though, I probably, and I apologize if this is overkill, but I ought to read the resolution into the record. So, that under and pursuant to the Municipal Finance Act, Chapter 33 of the RSAs, the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank Law, Chapter 35A is amended, and other laws in addition thereto, and to votes of the issuer duly adopted on March 12th, 2022, Article 1 of the warrant for such annual meeting of the issuer, there be and hereby is authorized the issuance of a $225,000 bond of the issuer, which is being issued to finance the purchase of land or other interests therein for conservation. Bond shall be dated as of the date of issuance, shall be in such numbers and denominations as the purchaser shall request, shall mature in accordance with the schedule referenced in Exhibit A, which is what I just read to you, those dates up to 2040. to a certain loan agreement shall bear a net interest cost rate of 4 3/4, 4.75% per annum, and may be determined by a majority of the board. The board shall be substantially in the form set forth as Exhibit B to the loan agreement. That's what was omitted by council, so I will make sure that Exhibit B is in the proper form and that we get that. And otherwise issued in a manner as the signatories shall approve by their execution thereof. Bond shall be sold to the bond bank as par values thereof, plus any applicable premium, that in order to evidence the sale of the bond, the treasurer of issuer and a member of the board are authorized and directed to execute test, deliver in the name on behalf of the issuer a loan agreement, substantially the form submitted to this meeting, which is hereby approved with such changes not inconsistent with the vote and approved by the officers executing the same on behalf of the issuer. Approval of such changes shall be conclusively evidenced by the execution of the loan agreement by such officers. Resolved that all things heretofore done and all actions heretofore taken by the issuer and its officers and agents in its authorization of the project to be financed by the bond are hereby ratified, approved, and confirmed. That the clerk and the signers of the bond are hereby authorized to take any action necessary to carry out the provisions of this vote, including delivering the bond against payment therefore. That the useful life of the bond being financed is in excess of 15 years. Further certified that this meeting was open to the public. The vote was not taken by secret ballot nor an executive session. Notice was posted in public places within the territorial limits of the issuer or published in the newspaper of general circulation at least 24 hours, excluding Sundays and legal holidays before said meeting, that no deliberations or actions with respect to the vote were taken in executive session. Minutes of said meeting have been promptly recording, and have been or will be made open to inspection not more than 5 days in accordance with 91A, which is the Freedom of Information Law. So, a lot of legal verbiage, but I felt it was important to read in the record. So, having said all that, and I here further certify that the above vote has not been amended, rescinded, and remains in full force and effect. So, if I could have a, well, I would propose a motion to accept, this resolution to proceed with the bond, with the caveat that we will have a revision of the date of the agreement, and also I will satisfy, myself that Exhibit B is in the proper form as referenced.
Second.
Any discussion or any concern? Okay, and we can go ahead with a vote. Buddy?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Chip?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So, just want to make sure we're all signing in the right place. Is it just for me to sign? Yeah. Okay. All four.
There should be some music.
1, 2, 3. Is there anything on the resolution that needs signature? Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's move on to regular business. There is business from the Municipal Building Committee and some recommendations from design firm. Is that?
That is correct.
One of you want to handle? Okay.
We met today, the building committee, municipal building committee, and we would like to recommend the Turner Group. We've decided to narrow it down. We had 3 interviews last Friday, and The subcommittee voted on the Turner Group to continue on with this study. So we would like to get the approval from the Select Board to move forward with that.
And can you just give a little bit of information in terms of the scope of what they're doing and,
Sure.
Yeah.
So what we're asking the Turner Group to do is to provide us with 3 examples of buildings. The first being a standalone police department, the second being the police department with a municipal, combined municipal building, and then the third being the police station with the ability to have site work done separately at a later date for
expansion.
expansion. Yeah.
And is there a cost associated with proceeding with the group?
Well, that's been approved already, has it not? Yeah.
Okay.
We have that capital reserve fund that we put money into.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to have the Select Board approve the Turner Group as our design firm for the municipal complex or police station.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Any discussion in the audience? Okay, then all in favor, I'll start over here, Letty.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Aye.
Andy? And I'm an aye.
Sorry, Letty?
We had also talked about hoping to have a contract to bring back here, but I don't remember when. Like, once we figure out with them what the scope of work is gonna be.
Yes.
Do you remember
Soon.
what the date was?
Soon.
Yes, yes is the
Yes,
answer.
soon.
Sometime in July, that committee.
Oh, it was July 1st, wasn't it? July 1st,
Okay,
I believe it was.
yep. Because I think any contract still has to be signed by the select board.
Correct. And then, yeah, but our next meeting is on the 8th. But yes, I think it's the 1st that we need by. Yep. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's right. And I'm thinking that in conjunction with that, at least on the agenda, there was a request to discuss appraisals for this town office building. Is that something that you wanted to address?
Yeah, I just had asked Andrew to get us current appraisals on the building.
Okay. When you meant by appraisals, did you mean like a formal appraisal done by an appraiser, or are you talking about the comparables that, had been previously done?
I specifically did not want what we had previously done because it was a while ago. I said, can you please get a few current appraisals for how much the town hall could be listed for now?
Okay, so you're talking about like a formal appraisal being
No.
done? Okay, so you're just talking about getting some comparables?
Whatever we did last time, which I think was just reaching out to a couple commercial
Realtors?
realtors and saying, how much would you list this property for?
Okay, so basically doing some comparables with a realtor and having them look at that. Is there,
And I'm sure KRT could do an appraisal of the building too during reappraisal.
I don't want an appraisal, I want a market value, because obviously we know that things don't sell for what they're appraised at in both directions. But we had one 3 years ago that said that we could list the building for $1 million, and that if that is accurate, that could be part of this equation about buildings, so.
So is this something that the subcommittee was seeking to have done? I mean, with the idea that this building would be sold?
Well, I think that's one of the options that we're looking at.
The goal is to be able to answer any question that a member of
Correct.
the public might have. Did you consider this? Did you consider this? And one of those considerations would be selling this building to offset, if we decide to move out of this building, selling this building to offset other construction. I didn't anticipate.
So we're not
discussion
looking,
tonight.
so your request for an appraisal is incorrect. What you're looking for is market research on this building, not an appraisal.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know we were talking about this at this meeting tonight.
Oh, okay.
I just never heard back from Andrea, so I didn't realize that this was going to be an agenda item.
Okay.
I CC'd you on the email.
I got it. Yep.
Right, so if, yep.
So personally, it's a good idea, but I think we should hold off on this until closer to town meeting, because as everybody knows, the market's gonna change between now and then, so we might as well have our current market value before we present it to the voters.
Yes and no. We want to get our ducks in a row well before that. We would like to present our plans to the town well before town meeting, so that there is room for discussion and people understand the different choices that we will come to them with. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I
We
think
can say like.
so. I think a
vote
market value.
date.
I think a market value is warranted. I think a full-blown appraisal is not. I don't think we need to spend the money for that.
Yeah,
But
I
if we,
didn't realize it was a different term.
yeah. So I would be in favor, just so that we can have some idea of where we stand. You know, there's quite a discrepancy. I personally don't think that this property is worth $1 million, just, you know, but
That was a couple years ago,
Yeah.
so things could have.
who knows? So I think it's,
Is the idea to present, the options to the residents at town meeting, all options, or
No.
is it?
beforehand, so that
Right, but all the
Us
options or a
is-
recommendation, I guess is.
so we're going to present all the options, and then as a group, we're going to, and correct me if I'm wrong, lady, but we're going to suggest, whether it's option A or B or C or D, we're going to recommend, and we'll have, but we want to present, the whole purpose of this committee is to make sure that the town, this is a huge thing, so we want to make sure that the town is well aware of all the options that are on the table, what the expenses are, and what would serve the town best. Because we understand everybody is very concerned about it. There were extremely inflated figures brought forth before, and we want to make sure that the town is fully aware of what we're doing and how we're doing it, and that we're not trying to build the Taj Mahal. We're trying to build a new police station that will serve the town of Brentwood for many years to come, without spending an absorbent amount of money.
Okay. Is that something that you could follow up with in terms of a real estate agent and getting some market research and, for purposes of what they would list the property? Okay, excellent. I don't think we need to even vote on that.
Nope.
So, okay. All right, next on regular business is Pine Road. I was hoping that Wayne would be here, but so it had come to my attention.
Yeah, he's just off of camera.
Oh, okay. It had come to my attention that there on Pine Road, there had been a couple of incidents where trucks had taken out cable or electric wire because they were hanging low and the truck beds were hanging higher. And the property owners that were adjacent to that road had asked Wayne and had given their written approval to post no parking signs on Pine Road in that area that is depicted on the map. My understanding is that Wayne, being the good guy that he is, went ahead and did so. But I felt that it was something that the board ought to ratify because it's really within our jurisdiction whether to post
We did.
signs or not. No, it's this first that was coming to my attention.
Is it no parking or no entrance?
No parking.
No parking, okay.
Which business is this?
The one right next to all the new no parking signs.
I haven't driven
It's
down.
the compost one, so just past the,
So it's PR Russell.
I think we
no,
have
past
letters.
Russell. It's just,
So it owns Corning? Or the other
no,
way?
the other way.
Well, it looks like there were 2 letters from adjacent property owners, PR Russell Mulch and Soil Products, Kristen McCrae, who had given permission to install no parking signs on the property located between PR Russell entrance and 99 Pine Road. Russell does not assume any responsibility for these signs. And then Gentech Safety Canopies, Mark Carpenter issued a letter granting permission to the town to install no parking signs on our property across the affected area from our entrance to the property line of PR Russell at 91 Pine Road and to further install barriers should the signs be ignored. Gents Tent Safety Canopies does not assume any responsibility for these signs or barriers. Wayne went ahead and, I think was being proactive and posted the signs. Those signs are in the town right away, so it is a town road, and I checked that with Mr. Kennedy of planning. So I felt that it was really within our jurisdiction as a board to, ratify the actions taken in terms of having these signs posted. If there's some concern about it, I'm certainly willing to table it so that we have an opportunity to take a site, view of the area, but I'm not quite sure that that's.
I don't think that's what's needed. I've spoken to Wayne about this, and it has been an ongoing issue, and this is a good way to prevent it from happening again. When those wires come down, it does affect several buildings in the area, so several properties. So I think it's, and like where you checked, it's on our property. I don't see a problem, so I'm good with it.
Any other conversation or concerns with regard to it? If not, then I'd accept a motion to ratify the posting of the signs on Pine Road.
What's the name of the business?
The generator plate, it's the one,
Gentech?
yeah, it's the one that has the gate up. Where the big.
Gentech and PR Russell.
I'll make a motion that we post Pine Road between Gentech and PR Russell's property line for no parking.
I'll second that.
The whole thing or the whole thing? Or just the part where there's no?
That area as indicated in the plan and
It's
also.
wooded up to a point and then it's like a dirt pull-off. It's one of their favorite pull-offs.
There are 2 parking signs in the area of the town right away as indicated on the plan.
So I think
Yeah.
if you want to have a motion, it needs to be an exact motion. So if we're only posting a certain section, it should be so many feet from the property line to so many feet.
And
Or
maybe
we
it's
can just
more
do
than-
the whole thing.
I want to say it's more than 2 as well.
I'm not sure I'm prepared to have that level of specificity.
I make a
With reg-
motion we table.
Perfect. All right. I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. What we can do is we can ask, you know, Mr. Kennedy to go out there and take some specific measurements, which I think he'd be happy to do, and then he'll bring it back to the next
Field trip.
board meeting. And then we can ratify the signs that have already been
Done.
placed by
Table.
Wayne.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
You need a,
Right, because I understand right now the motion would be vague and it would be helpful to have more specificity in terms of the location. I
But
get it.
can't we also just put up signs on our right of way wherever we want to?
Well, that's what we're doing.
Great.
That's what we're doing. But,
there needs to be authority to put them up.
yeah, and some specificity.
Well, you can put as many signs up you want. It's when the police department writes tickets that's the problem.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on, I know from the last meeting where we hired a CPA to start the process of reconciliation. So do you have an update on that, Andrea?
He has reconciled January through March. He said general entries still need to be made, which he identified. And he's ready to move forward with April. I'm going to print off the rest of the bank statements for him, so it's moving along.
Okay. Any issues with regard to, you know, what he's looked at to this
He
point?
didn't indicate any issues. Yeah.
And just
He would tell me.
confirming, we're talking 2024?
Correct.
Yes.
How many hours did that take?
He didn't give me the hours. I can get the hours from him.
Yes, please, because that would give us an idea of how much the rest of the year is going to cost.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause that's-
Apparently, he's coming in on Thursday morning, so I plan to meet with him since I've yet to, you know, meet with him in person, so I'll find out that information Thursday morning.
So, just so far, he's only done 1 week of work, or was he there for 2? Yeah.
They don't know, she doesn't know how many hours.
No, I know, but when did he start? I guess is the question.
I emailed him on Wednesday, so he said he would start. He works remotely, so. he's
So
in
he
the
started
office.
2 weeks ago, or
Yeah, about a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks, yeah, let's say 2 weeks. It was the Wednesday I
So-
reached out to him.
I really do want to stay true to the motion where we do require a written update from him on the progress.
I will speak with
Uh,
him Thursday morning when he's supposed to be at the town offices, and I will communicate that, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, I understand,
Just to follow up on that, can you send out an email to the board of the status, just so we don't wait another 2 weeks?
absolutely. Hope to get you an email on Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay, I understand our deputy fire chief is here and wants to address the board, so.
You can come up here.
Come up close.
I don't bite.
He has a dog. He's used to it.
So when I started the job, I had told everybody that I would try to acquire vehicles through different programs and grants for the town and try to get a better price or free. One of the programs is through the Division of Forestry and Lands, and they acquire Department of Defense vehicles for forestry. And I had put in for a UTV, an ATV, and a light, medium tactical vehicle that we use for tankers. The gentleman that does it at the state level, that does all the acquisition and requests, actually found us a UTV. It's in Pennsylvania at this time. We have to go and get it, but other than that, it's free to us. And it's a military John Deere Gator that has a heavy payload and a tow load and can handle a lot of equipment. And it has 2 seats and an enclosed So we can actually take it out in inclement weather too, but it'll be great for the trails or forestry stuff to bring people in and out or bring equipment in and out, or actually take care of patients that are hurt out on the trails or somewhere in the woods. So we have got the approval for the transfer. The way that works, it's called a FEP program. FEP stands for Federal Access Personal Property, that they hand to the state, and then the state hands it to us. Ultimately, we get to keep it for as long as we'd like, but the state ultimately gets to own it, and when we don't want it anymore, all we have to do is give it back to them at no cost. So we have to take care of it and maintain it the whole time we have it. We do have to paint it or decal it. We can't keep it the military colors, and we have 6 months to do that. And like I said, we have to maintain it, insure it, and keep it stored inside or in a trailer, because that's a smaller piece of equipment that we're actually obtaining for that. But my recommendation is that we should take this piece of equipment. It's a solid UTV. It's a 6-wheel UTV actually, so that's why it can handle a lot bigger payload. And I have ultimately 2 weeks to pick it up. So, and that's what we are technically working on now, just trying to figure out how to get down to Pennsylvania and pick it up. But like I said, it's free to us, and we just have to upfit it.
Do you have a rough idea of what this thing is worth, just in value, so that we can let the public know, you know, your efforts, and it's a pretty substantial piece of equipment that we're going to be getting thanks to you, you know, at no cost to the public.
Yep. New UTVs, if we were to look at them, especially a Gator, would be anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000, depending on which one you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, these are used military vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
but most are in running condition, or they need some minor work. This one needs new batteries, and they're not sure the starter is good on it anymore. But it's all minor stuff that we have to take care of. So I can't give you a price on this particular vehicle on what they say it is, because they don't give it to you. But if we were to try to get a new one, we'd be spending $20,000 to $30,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you have an idea, I'm sorry, do you have an idea of what it's going to cost us to have it painted or decaled?
I haven't got it quoted out yet, but I don't think it's going to be anything substantial. And
And that
I'm
comes out of
hoping-
your,
I'm hoping that I can fit it right into the budget, or I might have to, like I said, I have 6 months, so maybe a little bit this year, and
Yep.
then take it out of next year's
okay.
for the rest of the upfitting.
So we're not asking for any additional monies?
Nope.
Yep, okay.
Nope. Shouldn't have to ask for any additional monies.
Is there some sort of agreement that we need to?
There is an agreement that we have to sign with the state. Once we go get it, then the state sends us the paperwork, and then we have to sign an agreement, and they keep it on file, just so that they realize, because the vehicle is registered to the state technically, but it also has to get registered to the town. That's how they keep track of it ultimately, so that they know that it's in the state and it's technically theirs.
Is there some sort of proposed agreement that you can forward to
Absolutely.
us?
I actually made copies of all the standard things that they expect. And we would put it under our insurance policy, like we have all our other fire trucks, which it talks
Great job.
about on number 2. So, but that's all they ask that we do.
Deputy, would you be purchasing either a, like, med light back or a pump and tank insert?
It's something that this would definitely handle, because it can handle the payload, so that's why this is a preferable type of vehicle for us. It's something that we definitely could consider. There are grant programs for those too, so I would probably try to go that route first before spending any money. They have one that you can, it's a combo pack actually. It's for forestry and life safety. It actually has a Stokes basket and a forestry unit. Yes. So, and they're built for Gators. So This is
good.
this is just more heavy duty. It's a military gator, so all the pieces and parts are just more heavy duty and easier to work on because that's what they do. They make things easier.
Did you check with our,
Yes.
did you check with our liability insurer
Oh,
that
yeah,
this
I
is
Oh, you already,
insurable?
Well, they would, I've never seen anybody have a problem with it. Where I came from previously, we took a bigger vehicle, that we made the tanker, and, we had no problem insuring that. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Are you looking for particular action tonight, or?
I was just informing you that we've been approved for it and it is free, so I just want to make sure that you guys are okay that we go pick it up and bring it to the town
Okay.
and put it in, you know, and start working on it and get it put in service.
motion.
Second.
Seconded.
Roll call.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
I'm an
Good
aye.
job, Roy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you leave, I just wanted to get an update on, you know, the per diems and the overnight shifts that we
Yep.
had, you know, discussed, probably a couple of months ago at this point.
It's actually going very well. People are picking up all the shifts. We've had, I think only one full and one bang out, but somebody else came in and picked it up. So we have not had, any issues and we haven't had to hire anybody new yet. So we've been able to handle it with all the few call people that we have and the per diems that we were using during the day. They've also been wanting to stay at night and just do a 24. So,
So we've been having 24 coverage.
yep. So for the past month, we started at the beginning of May, and now we have, that went well, and the new schedule for June is out, and we have 0 holes to fill at this moment in time. So we're kind of just seeing if, we're not hiring anybody new until we see how things work out with everybody that we have, and if we have to fill some holes, we'll be able to hire new people, no problem, and bring them in. But as of now, it's working really well.
And how's the relationship doing with Plastow Regional Intercept?
But we love them. They've been very great to work with. The paramedics are absolutely willing to sit down and train our personnel and teach them all kinds of EMS stuff and give them free training that we never would have gotten anywhere else.
And they're very busy.
Yeah, they're very busy actually. They really, especially at night, they're out constantly. So we're trying to be very kind to them with the tones. We're trying to figure out a different tone system so they don't have to listen to our tones, and so we're working on trying to figure that stuff out. But it's been working out really well, and they like our station, so they've been very happy.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Thank
I
you,
don't know
Roy.
if there's anything else you want to update us with?
That's it. Just
All right.
wanted to make sure you guys are okay with me getting the equipment.
Okay, appreciate it, Deputy. Yep,
Have a good night.
have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Say hi to your dog.
Is there any other board business or updates in terms of committees before we go to public
oop.
comment? Yep, did you have something, John?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, sorry. I think we have a little bit of a time lag. I did have a quick question. There has been discussion at the last couple of rec commission meetings about the application process, and I just wanted to check in on if that has, if we've made any progress on getting, or at least having some communication going between between you, Andrea, and Andy on that.
Yep, we've posted the postings, not just rec, and you have received some interest, so
Okay, great, thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay,
That was all I got.
yep. Letty, any updates or any other board business?
Yeah, so the thing that I thought was just a question got put on the agenda, but the things that I had requested to be on the agenda aren't there. And so I'm wondering if there's a different way I should be adding things to the agenda than just emailing Andrea.
So what is it that you wanted on the agenda? I mean, I control the agenda, so I know it was, you know, an item that you mentioned with regard to the track, which I understood that Chief Doty was wanting to address at the next meeting when he'd be available in person.
That wasn't what I was talking about, but I'm happy to talk about that. I think because the police chief sent us an email saying that he had concerns about public safety, that's something that the public should hear about and that we should discuss.
I think he needs to be here for that, though.
Yeah.
Don't you?
He said he could call in. I mean,
I felt that he should be here in person, and I spoke with Chief Doty about that, so I understand that he wanted to be here at the next meeting.
okay.
Was there something else?
Yeah. I guess, am I allowed to just bring up whatever I want?
Time for board business.
Okay. I'd like the board to discuss creating a predictable pay scale for fire and police.
What?
Predictable pay scale, like a grid.
Okay. And what do you want to discuss with regard to that, or what's,
I think we should do that because as we have a tax cap now, it would be a lot easier to plan for the next year if we know exactly how much people are going to cost next year.
So I have no problem with creating a pay scale or a pay matrix for town departments. The only issue is it has to be approved at town meeting for it to be binding. Because this board cannot hold another board to a decision. So any pay matrix that we create isn't binding year to year. It would have to be voted on at town meeting.
That is why I thought we should work on it now, so it could be approved at town meeting. So there wouldn't be any question about what happens in future years.
I think it's amazing idea.
okay? I'm open, so if people want to, work on that, is that something you want to work on?
I guess I assume we would need to talk to the chiefs.
Okay.
You almost need like a work committee to start compiling information and comps and
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a fairly extensive project. I mean, I'm open to ideas to getting that off the ground.
I guess I can reach out to the two chiefs and see if they would be interested in
Okay.
working on it.
This department would probably have more information. You can probably reach out to a lot of the other police departments. I'm not sure about fire. The police department would be.
I mean, I was gonna start with what we're
More
currently
available.
paying people and just, instead of having, because I think the police one's pretty confusing right now. There's a lot of different columns and checkboxes. Just kind of simplifying it into level and years of service or something. But if nobody else thinks it's a good idea, then
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'd like to, I'm open to the process, and if it, develops and is something that, makes sense.
I think this is something that we should absolutely talk about, but in a 5-minute thing that we're just not.
So this is
That's-
why I was a little confused, because I did ask for these to be put on the agenda. And that's why I think I asked if I'm not doing it right by sending an email, if there's a different way I should
No,
do
I
it.
shared this with you, Paul. We talked about this yesterday.
Yep. And, again, I wasn't, in terms of making the agenda, it wasn't something that, I was in tune with. So maybe we ought to, communicate so I understand what it is that you're looking to put on the agenda. And then we could go from
So,
there.
so instead of emailing Andrea, I should email you?
Yeah, you can email both of us.
Okay,
Yeah,
Sounds like a
and then we
plan.
can have a conversation about it.
okay. So would you like me to say the other two things, or should I?
Can I, just a point of order, respectfully, are we saying that we're not all equals here in terms of what we choose to bring up? It does seem a little bit alarming to me that if another select board member asks for something to be put on the agenda, that a separate select board member can just simply veto that. But that seems,
I am the chair, John, so I can have control, over what is on, the agenda. So, I mean, if, I'm pretty open to putting things on the agenda if I have a good understanding of, the relevance and the purpose. I don't think, I'm one that's, going to be obstructing, if that's what you're suggesting.
no, I just, okay.
Are there any other
Yeah,
items?
there were two.
You
others.
have the floor.
Okay, as part of talking about that pay scale, I thought it might be a good idea for the board to discuss a formalized COLA policy, where the expectation of COLA is tied to like the federal Social Security COLA every year, and that just is what it is. We don't have to figure it out every year like we have been doing. It is just the same as other people are getting on Social Security. That would be my suggestion, or if the board thought a different one would be better, that's fine.
I think that would be all tied together with the pay matrix,
Yep.
and that would be all part of the same. Because to figure out the pay matrix, you would need to figure out the step and
Yep.
COLA, so.
Right.
Yep. So,
And, obviously, it's going to need to fit into the constraints, that we have in terms of a cap as well. So, and there's, some moving pieces here.
yep. And then the other thing that I had was, on that note, when we do budgets, how do we do budget season this year with the cap in place? So last year we had asked for budget numbers before we got all the budgets so that we could kind of know where we're at. I think this year that's going to be even more important. And so I was just wondering what the timeline was for that.
Yeah, I don't know that we have a timeline per se.
I just based on my experience and looking back on Karen's emails, I usually send something out mid-August and ask for the budgets. Usually, in my other communities, we had budget meetings, but with the selectmen. But get the budgets in early to mid-December.
Oh, I think
That's going to be too late. Yeah. We usually start reviewing budgets in what?
September.
Yeah, end of September.
Usually once we come out of our summer schedule, so the end of September is usually when we start budget preparation, because when does budget committee start? So,
And we have to review them the week before they do. So.
and just in case anybody didn't hear, Michelle, budget committee starts in October.
So is that something that you can work?
So a lot of the numbers don't come in until like fall. So
Right,
I mean, your department heads could get
healthcare
selectmen.
and stuff like that are not in department budgets, so
Primex, yeah,
all those
Right.
numbers
right,
are
are separate. Yep, yep.
So is that something that we can work with, understanding that?
How about, does the selectmen review the budget before it goes to the budget committee? Or-
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I would say you probably should do it mid-September before it goes to the budget committee in October.
So could I
What,
see?
what day is?
Labor Day is the first? Your question?
Yeah,
Labor
so
Day's
we would come out of we would meet every Tuesday in September. So probably have primary budgets by the 16th of September.
the big ones?
Huh?
The big ones?
Yeah,
I mean, if we could have all of them, that would be great. But, I mean, obviously insurance, we can't, but any of the ones that are just,
I think we should have all primary budgets by the 16th, just so we can have a working idea of,
would you be willing to do the 15th so that we can look at them on the 16th?
yeah. I'd even be willing to say by close of business on the 11th,
Ooh,
and then they could all be emailed
I like that.
ahead of time.
I like that.
All right. Okay. You'll communicate that to the department heads, the big ones, as so said? Okay.
And then the only other thing was last time we had approved hiring a finance person. I didn't know if that job had been posted. Oh, what's the job description?
The job description I brought to the last meeting, I think it's posted. It's posted within the ad itself.
Okay.
So you'll see the ad, you'll see it posted on the website, you'll see it. People don't have to jump to the job description.
Any movement, interest?
Oh, see a few people.
Has anyone actually applied at this point? or-
No applications we haven't received, just people have.
Is it just on our website, or did we put it on New Hampshire Municipal?
Is there a reason you took out the amount that we were talking about paying?
That they wanted you want to leave that off of the, just to see what you get for applications.
Yeah, I think the opposite.
I can update it.
I mean, I think if we want someone with these qualifications, they're not gonna take a job if they don't know how much they're gonna make.
I think what does it say now? Commensurate with experience? I think we had also spoken about, what, 35 an hour? We can add that.
35 hours a week.
Update the,
Starting at 30 to 35 is an hour, more depending on experience.
Is there anything in there about free donuts or anything?
Nope.
Little-
Really?
No.
All right. Any other board business or updates?
I can't think of anything right now that I am willing to talk about at this moment in time.
Andrew?
I don't have anything. I think we just need to not leave the pay scale open-ended, that we should have a follow-up date of when we're gonna talk about it again, because we have a habit of discussing things and then
The matrix?
yeah, they disappear.
I'm assuming that Letty's gonna come to us after, having some communication on that.
I can,
Okay.
or I can email everyone and we can talk about it at the next meeting if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was all I had.
Yeah, the only thing I'd have is, planning board, we had a site, walk down Tanya Lane. They were, looking at some issues on, Tanya Lane with regard to, the culverts, that are there. And, I anticipate that'll be subject of, further discussion at the planning board meeting coming up this Thursday.
I just thought of something, actually. Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. I did speak with some concerned residents on South Road about the new pavement that went in, and some work that needs to be done on the shoulder on both sides. And I did speak with Wayne today, and he assured me that he's on top of that, and that is in the works, and you should see some improvements happening very shortly on that front. Maybe at the same time, I would like to commend Deputy Chief Roy on his hard work with that UTV. That he did a lot of work on that, and that's going to save us a lot of money and be a nice piece of equipment. Also, I think Chief Doty should be commended, as he was able to get us a couple new to us laser speed, what do we want to call them? Radar guns. And at no cost to us. So he should be commended for that. So that's what I have.
I'll open it up to public comment at this time.
You might, does he need to turn on the microphone?
Yeah, or you can have a seat if you want to. Yep, if it's easier.
Hey, Derek Butts, Gallant Drive. Hi. Just a couple things. Actually, Letty, I was just listening to the opening for the part-time financial person. I'm concerned, like I have maybe potentially people I would recommend for this. It seems like there's a lot of tension. I just want to make sure I'd be putting them into an environment where it would be, when you recommend somebody, you want to make sure that they're going into a place that you'd recommend to your family to go or what have you. I'm concerned. It seems like there's some tension between the board and the staff here. In fact, I do have a neighbor who's looking for work that would be ideal for the candidacy, and I've just, we're talking about changing job descriptions, pay, stuff like that. I guess I just want to make sure that I'm putting them into a position where they're not going to be part of a difficult situation where, do you feel like this is a position where you would recommend to your friends and family and say, hey, come on in, we need some help, so and so. That's kind of where I'm at. Hopefully you guys can kind of clarify that for me. Especially,
I can start, and,
Sure.
and I'll let the others finish. I mean, my experience when I come to the town offices is that this is a great, team in terms of, how they function. And, it seems to me, what the times that I'm here is a great place to work. So we're looking, as you know, for someone to, assist in terms of, the finances and moving that, forward and getting that assistance that we haven't had in the past. So, I think it's a great opportunity. But, I understand that, sometimes there may be some differences on this board, which may suggest a little bit of tenseness, but that's, that shouldn't reflect at all upon what's going on in the town offices and the people who work there.
and that's important. I think ultimately we all love this town, and you're all trying to do your best for the different roles that you have. And I have a hard time, like when you recommend somebody for anything, you want to make sure it's the right fit and that you're not sending them into the abyss, so to speak. And I see Andrea's certainly nodding. She seems like she would be a great person to work with, and it seems like the board would be super supportive of that. And I just want to make sure that that's the case.
Yeah, and the employees are supportive of each other. They have each other's backs. There's like a family environment here.
Good. I definitely notice it with the people I've been working
Derek,
with.
we're like the Partridge Family. I mean, there's probably a couple times that there's some differences, but, we come together as a team at the end, and I think
Well, I think
we're,
We've been known to bicker like siblings.
yeah, that's
What was
all right.
that, Letty? I'm
We've
sorry.
been known to bicker like siblings.
Okay, good to know.
I
Can
drive
I-
the school bus.
Yeah,
I-
but that's select board, that's not what's going on in the town office.
No, and I get that. I noticed some tension between kind of the select board and the offices.
Being here for the last 2 years, I can tell you that I love coming to work every day, whether there's tension or not.
Awesome.
It's a
Well,
great place to
good
work.
for you, and it's important. I will be happy to talk to you off the microphone about the candidate that I'm mentioning. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Janice from the library. I have two questions. One, earlier, were you talking about the alternate applications for alternates? Are we doing that all on the same timeline like we had talked about last year, or is that? Okay, so they're going to be appointed in July, is that right?
That's the goal.
Okay, so I should be getting my applications ready, I guess? Is that right?
That's for the trustees.
Yeah, we have 3 alternates and they have to be reappointed. Well, we need 3 alternates appointed each year. And right now we have 3 that are willing to run again. the Board of Trustees of the library had decided that they did not need to submit another application because it would be identical to what they submitted last year. But that if anybody else is interested, of course, they want to open that up to allow for that possibility. So I would need to have that extended out to the public. So do I do that, or do I work with you on that, Andrea?
Yeah, we will update it. I'm not sure if we put the library trustees and alternates on there or not, so we can update that. Yeah.
Okay, and we can chat too about how things are done over there, if that helps. The other thing is, we're trying to move forward with getting the library included on the town website. But we're still not having a lot of luck getting that moving. One of the things that is holding us up is we need an official, I guess, not recommendation, but I know at one point I had asked the board if the library would be included on the website and if that would be at no additional charge to us specifically. And if I remember correctly, the answer was yes. But the people who are involved in creating the website want to get an official answer from you. So I don't know if that is something you need to look into or can just state.
Frankly, I don't remember that as a prior request, but I don't see that as an issue. Do you remember this, Andy?
I kind of remember the goal was to get everybody away from having separate websites.
Right.
But I don't know if the library's portion was quoted with the price that.
Who's asking you to do that?
Stephanie?
So not municipal one?
No, I haven't even talked to them. And the reason I ask is we, of course, have to have our website ADA compliant by 2027, I believe it is. If I have to do that with the Weebly site that we currently run, then we need to get on that quickly because that's a lot of work.
Wouldn't
But
we
that
have to
was-
do that too? Or is that something just for
That's
libraries?
My understanding was that Municipal One, that was part of the benefit of joining in on that website, was that they are ADA compliant.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but that was one of the things that interested us the most, was that we would not have to go through all of the steps, with our current site. In addition, our current site is not user-friendly for mobile devices. It's very clunky. It's great on a tabletop, but, so we are really interested in doing this, but I can't move forward until I know.
I guess I don't understand why we can't just create a page called library like we have for the other
Yeah,
departments.
I think we can. I think it's just, I think she just wants reassurance that the board is okay with that.
I'll make a motion that we add a library page pending it does not increase the service contract amount.
Or the question is, who's gonna do that work, maybe? Is that maybe what she was asking?
Well, I know Kiki and I would be we would need help to get everything migrated over. But we currently run our website completely, just the two of us. And we looked at how to build on Municipal One. It doesn't look a whole lot different than what we're doing. And so I think it would be an easy enough task with, having somebody that we could go to with questions. But we'd have to get permissions, like I have to get a login. I don't have that yet. But in order to be like on the town's calendar too,
Well,
I would need
So,
this.
to the best of my recollection, we don't have a number of pages cost?
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Is this like a block 5 question?
No, it's
No.
not municipal one.
It's a municipal,
Municipal one.
Okay.
I mean,
they're the website provider.
So can we coordinate, with them and find out? I mean, I don't think there's any opposition, here, as long as it, is something that is doable.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for. Is
I think
just, are you
it's-
guys okay with us kind of moving forward with this? And
Andrea reaching out to Stephanie and everybody coordinating everything together.
So that, there really isn't an everybody, which is, I think, maybe what Steph is getting at.
Well, that's what I mean. Everybody, Janice, Stephanie, Andrea,
Okay.
And-
Kiki.
And
the-
as far
and
as
the web
your-
provider.
As
Yeah.
far as your questions, Municipal One has a pretty good response to support tickets, so
okay,
they're gonna be your best bet.
okay. Yeah, I think there was just a question of whether or not we would be paying for that because Weebly is next to nothing for us. So if we had to pay for it, we would not have that in our budget. But Weebly is not the best device.
Well,
And I think if there is concern that we join in with the town in terms of like our calendar, having our events on the calendar and that kind of thing, then we certainly would have to have access to that. And I guess what I'm saying is the board and I are excited to think about moving forward on that. So we just want to make sure that that's okay so that I can try to get the next steps in place.
Yeah, why don't we have that coordination that we just discussed so we can, see what's involved and,
Okay.
go from there.
And if there's any cost involved, and who's going to pay for it?
Right. I don't think there was additional cost. I think that was kind of included in everything.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we will,
Right.
find out as part of this, coordination.
Okay. Thank you.
So did you want me to withdraw my motion
I
or?
don't know that it's necessary of a motion. Why don't we just have, the folks coordinate and find out?
Well, I think Steph was looking for the board support of this, so.
You're looking for it in a formal motion per se, or is this sufficient? I'm thinking this is sufficient. No one's objecting.
Yeah, I don't know that she needed a vote, but she definitely wanted it like on the record. So in the minutes,
Yeah.
if you guys have said that you
I
are,
think you should move forward with it and,
Yeah.
and see, have that coordination and see what's involved.
yeah,
There's a-
If I find out
If there's a
differently, I'll let you
roadblock,
know.
you'll let us know.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Or cost.
Or cost. That's a roadblock too. Okay. Anyone else? All right, great. We have no public comment, non-public session tonight, so I think we're at the end of our meeting. If someone wants to make a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
Aye.
John? Jim?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
And if there's anyone sleeping in the audience, this was a,
We will not make Chronicle segment since it's 7:27.